What is up, Flair City family? It is Bobby and Art back at the grocery store for a really important video all about GMOs. This video will teach you what GMOs are, but more importantly, they're going to teach you how 90% of the stuff in this grocery store here has GMOs, and even more importantly, how to avoid them. It's not just as easy as looking for corn and soy. It can be hidden and lurking in other ingredients. I'm going to show you the guide, how to avoid them and why we should be avoiding them. So let's head into Walmart here on the north side of Chicago. Before we do this huge GMO video, you're going to want to go ahead and subscribe to our channel by clicking that red button right below the video, because every single week we are doing 3 videos, including a live stream, including we're about to do a 4th video for the week. Woohoo! And better yet, there's a bell icon right below the video. Enable all notifications, because the live stream either on Wednesday or Friday is super fun, you guys. We make a recipe from start to finish. My daughter Rose Honey comes in and it's a good old time, and you don't want to miss out. All right, before we go to the middle aisles where the GMO problem is the worst, in my opinion, let's start in the produce section. And 99% of the stuff in the produce section, you don't have to worry about GMO because they're not genetically modified organisms with Roundup, okay? What is GMO and why is it bad? Well, sometimes even if you hybrid a pear and an apple, that's technically a GMO, right? I don't care about that. The 2 vegetables I care most about for GMO are corn and soybeans, because our buddies Monsanto have ruined them. What do I mean by that? Well, corn and soybeans are grown with Roundup ready seeds, meaning when they grow in the ground, if a bug eats them, they die. But for us, it's safe. And like I've said before, homie, don't play that game. I don't believe it, and I'll tell you why later on. So anywhere in the produce section here, be 100% safe to take any fruits and vegetables you want, except for corn. If you're gonna buy corn, it has to be organic, or if you buy it from Whole Foods or Trader Joe's, they have a policy of no GMOs. Now there are other GMOs here like apples or potatoes, but they're not Roundup ready vegetables and fruits. They're just kind of GMO'd in a way where they don't brown as easily, or the skin of the potatoes is a little harder, so it doesn't bruise easily. I'm totally fine with that. The real problem, like I said, is down in the middle aisles, because 90% of the processed and pre-made food in the grocery store on those shelves right there have GMO corn and soy, and I'm gonna show you how to avoid it. This wall of oil is GMO Danger City, and there's another danger lurking in here I'm going to talk about in a second. But anytime you see something that says pure vegetable oil, corn oil, canola oil, a blend, it's almost always going to have, if you read the ingredients, soybean oil or canola oil in here, or corn oil. Here's the problem that's twofold with these kind of oils. Number 1, they always come from GMO corn and GMO soy. Number 2, these oils are processed to death. Once again, we have a oil review video over at Costco. Tons of info in there. I would highly recommend watching that to see what oils to cook with, when to fry, and all that good stuff. These oils, like canola, soy, and corn, are highly processed and highly refined at super high heats. Number 2, they use a chemical called hexane to extract 100% of the oil from the plant. Very bad. They say that chemical gets removed. I don't believe it. So if you want to fry and you want to use canola oil or soybean oil, it has to be non-GMO, and you have to see the word expeller pressed. Expeller pressed means it wasn't processed to death. It only extracts about 85% of the oil from the plant, which is why manufacturers don't like to do it, because they're all about the money. You can find expeller pressed at Whole Foods, or they sell big jugs on Amazon. I'll leave the link down below. Otherwise, it gets kind of expensive to deep fry with avocado oil, but be very, very careful with the agricultural oils like corn, soy, and canola. They are bad, bad news. Now, let's talk about chicken and beef. And you might be thinking, well, come on, that's protein. There's no GMOs in there, right? Well, let me ask you a question. What do cattle, what do chicken eat? They eat grains, unless it's grass-fed, which I'm going to talk about in a second. The grains that 95% of the agricultural animals are eating in this country is GMO soy and GMO grain, once again, thanks to our friends over at Monsanto. Why does that matter? Well, if the chicken is eating GMO grains, that goes into their body, that goes into the protein, and then we're eating it. The thing is, studies have been done on both sides, right? The industry has studies that show, oh, there's no effects of GMOs. The troubling thing I've seen from that is that it stops short, kind of like Frank Costanza on Seinfeld, right? It stops short, I think it was like the 30-week mark. And then independent studies in Europe have it go another 10 weeks, and then these rats start growing huge cancerous growths. And that is roughly around, like, I think 35 or 40 years old for humans. So why bother taking the chance, if the animal's eating GMOs, for you to eat it? And ask yourself this question on top of that. If many European countries have banned GMOs, why is it so popular here, and why don't we care about it? Well, I think it's, just about the money, right? It's all about the lobbies and the agriculture. What does Kevin O'Leary say on Shark Tank? money, right? So how do we avoid that? Always buy organic chicken. Organic chicken eats grains like corn and soy, but it doesn't eat GMO grains. So very important to buy organic. Or once again, if you buy chicken from Whole Foods, they don't have GMO feed in any of their chicken. And I always buy grass-fed beef for many reasons, but grass-fed beef are from cattle that are 100% pasture-raised outside all day, every day. They eat grass, they prune the ground, it's good for the environment, it's good for the cattle, it's good for the farmer, and it's good for us, because when you compare this to grain-fed beef, the nutritional profile of this is higher, and it has higher CLAs, or conjugated linoleic acids. I know a lot of farmers always get mad at me when I say that, but listen, I believe the studies, I believe the numbers. I think it's better to eat the grass-fed beef because they're actually eating grass, what cattle are intended to eat. They're not eating GMO grains. That's just my opinion. And actually, Walmart and Aldi are my favorite places to buy grass-fed beef, and I actually prefer Walmart because it's an 80-20 beef to fat ratio, and the price is right. Don't bother getting organic, it's not worth it. Now, how is yogurt GMO, right? Well, think about it. It falls under the same category as the beef and the chicken. What do the dairy cows eat? Corn and soy. Monsanto GMO corn and soy. So this is pretty easy. Number one, always look for yogurt that has this, the non-GMO verified stamp. This is an independent third party that if it has it on here, you can guarantee there's non-GMOs in here. Now, I'll show you later on in the aisles that sometimes companies put this on products that don't even have close to any GMOs in there, but it makes you and me feel all warm and fuzzy inside, so that's why they put it on here. But be careful, because many of these don't have. I mean, I look at Light and Fit, I don't see a non-GMO. I look at Activia, I don't see non-GMO. I have a whole review video about yogurt. I highly encourage you to watch that as soon as this video is done, because just buying this one, the Fage, that's non-GMO, is not recommended. With dairy, just like I talked about with the chicken, you want to buy organic, and you want to buy ideally Greek style. Greek style has a superior nutritional profile, and ideally, if you can do it, you buy grass-fed. They don't have it here, but I'll show you the brands on that video to get, so I would definitely check that out because it's very, very eye-opening. And just like the yogurt we talked about, stay away from, in my opinion, once again, conventional milk, because what do the dairy cows eat? GMO corn and soy. We're very fortunate now that grass-fed milk is becoming prevalent and readily accessible everywhere. Walmart, Aldi, it's very exciting. I would get whole milk grass-fed milk. Number one, it's 100% grass-fed, which is fantastic. Number two, the nutritional profile of grass-fed milk is far superior. And number three, dramatic pause. What was number three, actually? That's what it was. I remember now. You always want to buy whole fat dairy. What's so great about whole fat dairy? It's because the protein combines with the fat to satiate your hunger longer, especially with Greek yogurt. So never buy non-fat. But also, you eat whole fat dairy for those omega-3 fatty acids. If you're getting 0% fat or skim milk, you're not getting those essential fatty acids. Always buy whole milk. In my opinion, always get grass-fed. It's pretty cool how you can get it everywhere now. Now, I can't leave this dairy section around here without talking about eggs really quickly. You want to buy organic eggs. And I wouldn't buy any eggs here because the only eggs you want to buy, in my opinion, is pasture-raised eggs. I don't want to give you the full spiel about it now because me and my buddy Paul, the Eggman, have a whole video about the difference between cage-free, free-range, and pasture-raised eggs and why you really want to be buying pasture-raised eggs that are non-GMO and organic. Unfortunately, they don't have that here at Walmart, but many, many other grocery stores do. So check that out at the end of this video. The cereal section is a tough one because a lot of these are made with corn. Case in point, Cheerios, right? Cheerios, if you read the ingredients, they aren't made with corn, they're made with whole grain oats, but read the ingredients. It's made with corn starch. These are the sneaky ingredients like corn starch that are from GMO corn. So I would pass that up because there's no non-GMO sign in here. Plus, it doesn't have the best ingredients. Corn flakes, obviously. Don't have the non-GMO anywhere. And there's a troubling ingredient on here too. It says it has a ingredient called BHT. BHT is a preservative they used to use a lot in cereals. The problem is they found out it's quite problematic. Very few people use BHT anymore. They use tocopherols, which is a natural vitamin E antioxidant preservative. At the end of this video, once again, listen, Art and I have so many amazing videos from the grocery store. The cereal review one is a fantastic because we tell you a lot to avoid, but have a great amount of cereals to buy also. So check that out afterwards. But cornstarch, keep an eye out because that's almost always GMO, and all this stuff here has cornstarch or high fructose corn syrup or corn, and it's to be avoided. Let's hunt for other tricky names for GMOs in products. Here's one that has a lot of things I would not eat in it. It's the Nature Valley bars. Now, off the bat, we look at the ingredients, we see corn syrup is right there. Corn syrup comes from corn, almost always GMO corn. So that's strike one. Then here's another ingredient that you might not think is a GMO, but it is. Maltodextrin, and you will see that in a lot of products. Maltodextrin is derived from corn. Sometimes tapioca, but it has to say tapioca. Otherwise, it's corn, GMO corn. It's also a food preservative. Sometimes it makes the texture of things creamier, but it's also high on the glycemic index. It spikes your blood sugar because it's made from corn. Always look out for that. Look out for high fructose corn syrup and corn syrup. And out of the corner of my eye here, I see over here, Art, some pancake mix. Keep in mind, wheat is never GMO. Wheat is 100% safe. That being said, I talk about this in many videos, especially the bread video. I would only eat whole grain wheat because it's the complete grain. There's much more nutrition in there. But just for the record, wheat is not a GMO. I want you to know that. Do you have to worry about GMOs when it comes to bread? Yes. And you're thinking like, wait, you just told me that wheat isn't GMO, Bobby. What are you talking about? The wheat is not GMO. It's the ingredients they use inside, which is why you really have to put your glasses on for this one, because many of the breads here, including a brown berry natural wheat, uses soybean oil right there. Is it non-GMO? No, it's not. So you really have to read the ingredients. The funny thing is, we have a bread review video telling you the best kind of breads to buy. Spoiler alert, it's sprouted bread. Watch that video when I'm done. That is a killer video. They have the same exact one at Whole Foods, and I swear to you, it doesn't have the soybean oil on, but this one does. And many of the cheaper breads have that too. And I know it's redundant. Yesterday we had the tortilla review video, tortillas and all that other stuff. Almost all tortillas are made with GMO corn, especially the ones here. You really have to go to a place like Whole Foods that does not have GMOs, or buy organic tortillas. Otherwise, the maize or the corn is GMO all of the time. Check that video out too. You're gonna have a long, long Sunday of watching nothing but Flav City videos. And you know what? We're okay with that. Condiments. Ketchup. Do you have to worry about GMOs with tomatoes? No, they're not GMO. You gotta worry about the ingredients they put in this ketchup, especially from brands like this, because 100% of the time you look at the ingredients, high fructose corn syrup and corn syrup. You're getting a double dose of Monsanto there, right? So I know what you're thinking, well, Bobby, they make one here that is no sugar added, right? So now we're good to go. There's no high fructose corn syrup. True, you got a point on me, right? But I'll hit you right back, my friends, because what are they replacing the high fructose corn syrup with? They're replacing the corn syrup with sucralose. Sucralose is another word for Splenda. Splenda is a man-made, chemically made sugar that is terrible for you. It's bad for your gut, and it tricks your brain into having more sugar cravings. So I'll put that back. Dropping things like I always do. And if you're a Walmart shopper, they have Tessemes, which is organic. They don't even use corn syrup or sugar. They use dates. So keep that in mind for ketchup. Now I'm going to switch sides with you, Art. And we, once again, have a whole video about salad dressings, which salad dressings are so terrible, you guys, because they're not only jacking up sugar and sodium, they use the worst quality GMO oils in here. Soybean, canola oil. The only one I can get behind is Primal Kitchen, and thank God they have it here now at Walmart. It's way cheaper than Whole Foods. It's $5.44. They use avocado oil, no sugar. It's paleo, it's keto. The ranch one is my favorite. Barbecue ranch is even better. If you can see it somewhere, grab it for sure. But even something like Brianna's, which you might think is a premium dressing, they use canola oil here, GMO canola oil. So just read the labels, you start putting the pieces together, it gets really easy for you. We all know that soda in general is bad for you, but read the ingredients on the back of any of these sodas, and they're always made with high fructose corn syrup, which is GMO City. That might be pretty obvious too, but also sugar is not just bad for you because it could contribute to weight gain and heart disease. Sugar is the devil, el diablo. Why? Because it feeds the bad bacteria in your stomach and it kills the good one. Stay away from that because of that reason, because of the GMO corn syrup. It's just bad news. And I know they make sugar-free ones at the store now that use stevia, which is cool, but all of them have natural flavors. And you guys know how I feel about natural flavors. The only flavored drinks I know of that are natural flavoring free are Spindrift, which is sparkling, and S, which is flat, but tasty as can be. Popcorn, right? So the major popcorn brands like Orville are obviously GMO. I think we know that from the get-go. If you don't see the sign here that says non-GMO verified, it's GMO. But then be careful, because you might buy a brand like Skinny Pop. And even though it says non-GMO here, even though Boom Chicka Pop says, does it say non-GMO? Oh, non-GMO right here too. what kind of oils are they fried in? This is the education we get when we start going deep into health, right? Okay, it's non-GMO. Check that off. Go to step number 2. Sunflower oil, sunflower oil. It's highly processed, highly refined sunflower oil. So even though it's GMO free, I would not eat that. There's a brand actually called Lesser Evil and Tiny But Mighty Popcorn, non-GMO, organic. They pop it in organic extra virgin coconut oil, next level. So I just want you to kind of like get down that road that once you identify GMOs, check that off the list, look at the other ingredients, and you can tell in your head, is it Bobby approved or not? And you can learn to move on. All right, check this out. So I want to do a whole video actually about hummus because it's a popular request, and I think the state of the hummus industry is really, really scary. Sabra, a brand I used to love back in the day, the roasted pine nut, fantastic. The problem is, look at the ingredients, you guys. The oil they're using is soybean oil. Now, thankfully it says right here, non-GMO verified. But what is going on with hummus? This is crazy. I've been to the Middle East. It's always made with extra virgin or olive oil. I make it at home with extra virgin olive oil. Why are they using a highly processed, highly refined oil like soybean oil? Even though it's non-GMO, I don't care. This is what I consider a toxic oil. And another brand like Cedars is non-GMO, thank God, and they're using sunflower oil. So we got that going for it at least, but be careful when you buy the Walmart brand or the third-party brand, because in fact, these guys here for this one are using canola oil, and this is not non-GMO. So I'm gonna put that down. Spoiler alert, the best hummus I've seen ever yet is a brand called Hope Hummus. They use extra virgin olive oil and clean ingredients. This, even though it's non-GMO, I would not buy. All right, Flavor family, that is it. The GMO review is done. And listen, I think this is a serious issue, right? I don't think we should be eating GMOs, and I told you why. So it's very hard to avoid them in the grocery store, but I hope now you have a guide how to avoid them, because I don't want you or your family eating them at all. Art, how do you feel about that?
I feel like that's some good information there, but you can't beat the real thing.
Art being art, y'all. We got 2 more videos going below us right now. Hey, y'all, like, subscribe, share. These videos are ridiculous amounts of work to make, and we almost get kicked out of every grocery store. We got 2 more of those videos going below us right now. But Art and I will see you very soon. Until then, hashtag keep on cooking. Mad love and... Whoa! Piss! I didn't mean that.
You spilled it all over me. Look
That's
at
what
that.
you get for eating your GMOs, Art. The devil.